Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today is the product of a bright idea I've got for re-releasing all the work that I've done this year to specifically address how the compost, how the crops turned out. I'm trying to give the full picture of the start, what you've seen already, and at the finish as the crops turned out. The disasters, the successes, the lot. This is my new idea. Please let me know below if you think this is something worth pursuing and of interest to you. I will be making chapters so that you can clearly see what you've watched already and the new content, because I would have thought the results would be of interest to you anyway, but not necessarily rewatching the whole video again. It's not trying to save time, it's just trying to give that full 360 picture. Let's go. So back in April, I decided I wanted to use this pile of wood chips for compost. The trouble is I used a sieve that was 25 millimeters wide, so quite a few relatively large big bits got in there. In hindsight, I wish I'd chose the smaller sieve, but that is what I've done. You'll see that I have to put a little bit of extra work in because of this little mess up. So the compost pile was really simply built: one layer of wood chips, another layer of grass. As simple as that, nothing technical, mixed in as I go, because it's always worth trying to get the layers mixed up if you can. I think it's a worthwhile task to do. A bit more exercise of course, but anyhow, not so bad. Of course this sort of pile can't be done until the grass grows, that's why it started in April. Largely the pile was made of those two ingredients. As you'll see a little bit later on, I did use a couple of other ingredients, one of which was urine, which you don't actually see me using, but basically it was added every time I thought it would need a bit more moisture. The idea of this is just to add a little bit more nutrients into the pile. It certainly helps the microbiology, and of course it's making very good use of a waste product, and I'm very keen on that. So this is the first real turn. As you can see, my little methodology of doing it in thirds seems to work very well. The heat was quite well up at the stage, and then this was the other ingredient I used, which is torn up newspaper and hay and wood shavings from my daughter's guinea pigs. Now normally I do everything just based on plants, but this is a waste product my daughter's got. I'm very big on it. If you make the mess, you should cure it, and this year that has been my recurring theme. But it was a minor ingredient. So other than that, wood chips and grass were it. I always use a carpet topper and a bit of plastic to keep off the water, because I want to keep control of the temperatures, and as you can see the temperature did get up nice and hot. Once again, turning the pile repeatedly, it helps get the air and oxygen down in amongst the microbiology, which only helps keeping the pile hot, of course. That's the basic idea of turning it. This, I think, was a 21-day compost heap on the hot phase, and it's been sitting, maturing ever since. Every time the temperature dropped down a bit, I basically turned the whole pile again, making sure moisture, of course, and simply added more grass. You have to have the grass availability, of course, but in this time of the year it was quite damp. Grass was growing well, a little bit warmer, so that really wasn't a problem. Try and add it through the whole pile if you can, mixing up as you go, because it's always good to mix in. People often say about making layers. I tend to shy away from making layers too much, or turn it very quickly afterwards, because grass layers, you add 6-inch layer of grass and it can really easily turn to a 6-inch compressed layer of sludge and go anaerobic in these little layers. So I prefer to add it, give it a quick mix up, and then it'll heat up and do its magic, of course, because the wood chip itself makes the bulk of the finished product. The grass tends to disappear, but that adds the vital nitrogen that converts the carbon to this wonderful compost that we have at the end. This compost actually was turned a total of 4 times, including grass most of the turns, and then a final turn from this compost bin into the Dalek. That must have happened about May time. I didn't actually record the date, and the temperature did drop away in the end. Now this is today, the 8th of September, and the compost is definitely finished. It's in a fairly good condition, and then basically what I've done now is put it through a 10mm sieve. Now I'm not a great lover of sieving compost, because I tend to think that the end result is fine used as a mulch. However, this still had quite a bit of large pieces, relatively large pieces in it, so I decided I would sieve the whole lot before usage. Let's have a quick close-up of the finished result. So there we are, in pretty good condition. Some wood chips are definitely visible, but in past I haven't had a great deal of problem with that. This size wood chips would have presented a problem, I'm sure, so I decided to exclude them. Interestingly enough, I found all this rubbish in there. That's a tea bag, one with wood that's not biodegradable, piece of metal. Plant labels are obviously from me. This is fabric used underneath the wood chip, not from me though. These are little fibres that have come off the bags that I use. A piece of terracotta pot, obviously that's not really a problem. In the end, I had about a wheelbarrow full of these oversized pieces and 4 wheelbarrows of this lovely material, which will be used up on the plot. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye bye.